Welcome to our coaching chat Zoom. I am so excited about today's call because you're going to hear from several leaders on our team, and we are going to do a recap of our Juice Plus Live Home Edition. Very first time we've ever done a conference virtually, and I thought it was fabulous. As much as I love being together at our regular Juice Plus Live events, I feel like the content, we probably all got even more content because it's there at our fingertips and we can go back and listen and take notes. And so I'm pumped and excited about all that we learned. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road, and here's where the leaders that are speaking today are going to challenge each one of us. How do we take that knowledge that we learned and put it into action? So that's the key. And I am excited to turn over the call to Caitlin Cobb. She's going to give you an update. I would probably say it would be kind of like the, what's the presidential speech? What am I thinking of? The State of the Union. So Caitlin, you take it off. Give us the State of the Union of Juice Plus Corporate.
Okay. I loved listening to Sean Hopkins. He gave me so much momentum, I guess, going forward into my business, because he's been with the company for 26 or 27 years, and he said that he feels like he's just getting started. Like, that is an incredible statement to make for somebody who's been with our company for that long. And so that just got me really excited to invite so many people to look at our products and to look at our business. He talked about how we have a very small product line and how that is very unique in the direct sales industry, that there are companies that have thousands of products and we have very few. And so they're going to work on product renovation. So making the products that we have even better, which is huge. Our products are already incredible, but they're going to work on making some of those very, just better. He talked specifically about the chewables and making those more compatible to the capsules that we already have. And then he talked about diversity of the complete, which blew my mind because so many people already love our complete, but specifically focusing on making it more functional in everyday use. I have no idea what that will look like, but that's very exciting. We already have so many ways that we use our complete. And so to be able to use it more functionally other ways is incredible. One thing that got me really excited was he talked about the research that the three most recent research studies that have come out on our products and how they are literally so good. It is hard to put into words how to describe them because the research on our products is so incredible, so phenomenal that you just can't simply state what they have found because it's like mind-blowing. And so they have to be very careful how they word it so that people will actually believe it because it sounds too good to be true because it's that good. And so if that doesn't get you fired up, y'all, like, I don't know what would, because there is literally nobody who cannot benefit from what we have to offer, product-wise and business-wise. He talked about our products, how they're very unique and we're very uniquely positioned in the market. And then also our business, our company has been around for a very long time. And we are very uniquely positioned in the direct sales and network marketing industry. And our future is extremely, extremely bright. We're getting a whole new digital ecosystem, which is incredible. Like, I'm so excited about that. It's going to be so user-friendly. We have a tried and proven system that we can walk people through to help them to be successful. And we have the #1 nutritional product in the world, selling product in the world. And so we would be crazy not to invite people to look at our products and our business. Like, they go hand in hand together. We have an incredible opportunity for everybody, health-wise and financially. So we need to be sharing with literally everybody. That's it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You got me fired up. And that was one that got me excited. So that I'm not going to come on and talk after everyone, just whoever's talking, refer to the next person behind you which the next person's going to be Karen Farrell, talked
Yeah.
about, just giving us a highlights from Dr. Tamara Sachs.
Yeah, and you asked me to give some powerful takeaways. There were a gazillion. She was amazing, and her talk was on epigenetics, which she said was food and genetics. It makes us who we are. What you feed your cells determines your health. And speaking of feeding ourselves, she talked about the Western diet that most of us are in this country are on, and it's not good for us. It has caused an increase in the risk of cancer, especially among us women. I'm sorry if there's any guys on here. Rise in MS and autoimmune diseases, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. And then these next 3 bullet points that I wrote down are very near and dear to my heart because my son's serving in the military currently, my youngest one. She said that 71% of our current youth would not be eligible to join the armed forces because of obesity. And that the majority of our active duty soldiers wouldn't qualify if they were to go back through boot camp again. That's scary. And then she cited retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, and he said that they've had an increased difficulty in recruiting soldiers due to the decline of the health in our nation's youth, and that our national security will be affected. Ouch. That's pretty huge. Then she went on to talk about the FDA and how every 5 years they're having to up the number of servings of fruits and vegetables in our diet, and as well, not only the number, but the size of each of those servings. It started with the 5 a day, then more matters, then half your plate, then have a plant, but the guidelines are always changing because of the decreased nutritional value in our food source. But she went on to explain that if we prescribe fruits and vegetables, that we could save 100 billion, that's with a B, in healthcare costs, prevent 650,000 deaths, 120,000 new cases of diabetes, and 1.93 million strokes and heart attacks. I don't know about you, but that set my world on fire, because I'm telling you what, we have such an obligation to change the habits of our prospects and customers, because what we have to offer them is amazing. And 100 billion in healthcare costs, that's nothing to sneeze at. Then she went on to talk about epigenetics, the main focus of her talk. And she talked about methyl groups attaching to your DNA cells and agouti mice. And that was all fascinating to hear, but it's way above my pay grade. So I took a couple things from that talk. She said that epigenetics is basically how nature and nurture interact. And I thought that was a cool way of putting it. And she said that your gene expression can change based on what you eat, how you move, your thoughts, your feelings, and your social connections. Then she went on to explain, so what can be done? And obviously the answer is more fruits and vegetables. We need those antioxidants and those phytonutrients. And when you can't eat them, you need to take your Juice Plus to help bridge that gap. And I love this quote that she said, that was physiology before pharmacology. So take care of it before you need the medicine. And then she touched briefly on our research, and we all know how positively it affects every component of our health. So I was asked to tell how we could implement this information into our businesses. Well, to me, it's simple. Commit it to memory, some of those high points, share it with your customers in conversations, and better yet, send the video, Dr. Sachs's video. And I'll tell you why, because I believe that an educated customer becomes a lifelong customer. And it only reiterates why flooding their bodies with 30 whole fruits, vegetables, and berries makes sense. It makes sense now and always. Like how I did that? That was the video. That's it.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, I'm going to go next. I'm going to talk about the digital transformation, or they're calling it all things digital. Okay, so we have 2 new digital transformations, and one is the website and the other is our virtual office. And they're actually going to be, at least from what I understood, like kind of one in the same. Like instead of having the Juice Plus virtualoffice.com to go to our virtual office. We're actually going to have a separate login for partners, and then that will take us to the virtual office. But first, let's talk about the website. So the website, the main differences on the website will be things like new font colors, more inviting, more simple. The store will be a little bit easier to see and understand with like product descriptions, better placed there on each item in the store. And then the new content on the website will be a healthy living content, like with recipes, fitness advice and stuff like that, and they have like a blog for all of that. So that's the main things for the new website. And for the virtual office, it's going to feel, like I said, very similar to our website because it's going to be kind of one in the same place, but different login for a partner. But a big thing that I was excited about was on the dashboard. This is new. It's going to tell you where you are at towards your next promotion. So that's exciting. Just kind of like log in and it'll say how close you are to your next promotion. And it will tell you where you are this month with your commission and PV. Kind of, I mean, they do that now, but it's kind of going to be easier to see in terms of like, right now they just kind of give you the number, but in the future it'll be like on a kind of like a half circle telling you all of the you know, where you are towards your commission for that month. And then on the menu, it'll be more simplified for each little, like, right now we have kind of 4 options at the top of our virtual office. It'll just be like 3 options. But one of them is going to be in our, let's see, for the team highlights, it'll be great because you can just click on your team and then it'll show you like each person's, I think there'll be a picture of each person, and then it'll have like a place where you can even text your team member or email them right from there. You can see how they're doing that month. You can see even their website. That was one thing I used to always like tell my partners to tell me their website because I could never remember it if I needed to refer someone to it or something, but even their own website will be listed out there. And then on our customer view, it's going to be much easier to read with like their ship dates, and you can even text your customers right there from the virtual office. And then with the customer view, you can also see their order history and their active orders. And then the mobile view for all of this is going to be updated as well. They were calling it your office in your pocket. My question was, it was unclear if it was going to be an app or just the website. I think from what I gathered, it was just like the virtual office website, just the mobile view of that. And then when is the big question. When is all this happening? And he said summer 2020. And he said during that transition, we'll still have access to the old virtual office during that time, just to allow for people to transition well into the new virtual office. So, but summer, that's exciting because I think our virtual office definitely needs an update. So, but I think both the website and the virtual office, he said summer 2020. That's it.
I think I'm next. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Mexico. I didn't feel like there was a lot, but maybe there is a lot now that I look at some of the notes that I took. So they had 3 different videos. One was by one individual who is new to the company, but has a breadth of experience, I think about 20 years in MLM, which I know we don't call ourselves MLM. We call ourselves more direct to consumer, D2C, but her name is Laura Morelos, and she did her video both in English and in Spanish, which I thought was awesome. She is now the regional director. I believe she would probably report with or maybe side by side with Gustavo Beltran, who also gave us a video. And this is some of the details that I will talk to you about here in just a minute. Gustavo is the director of Mexico operations. So she's regional, and I just don't know exactly the difference, but they're both directors there with Mexico. He gave us some statistics, which I thought were really interesting. Mexico, the country itself, on a worldwide basis, has been placed at 7th place in the MLM industry. So they obviously are up there with experience. They have, was it 72.5% individuals are overweight. So I would imagine that their whole, the whole Shred 10 is just going to explode there, I would imagine. But the other sad part about it that I'm not happy to state is that country does have the highest childhood obesity rate. But obviously to combat that, they have looked at what they've placed in terms of money, which is $8.15 billion is what they're directing to put into combat that obesity rate. So they obviously have a focus on it. And I love the fact that they've allotted some expenditures for that to help with that obesity rate. So they are going to put this out into 2 phases. First of all, they've already identified DHL will be their courier to carry the product. They had a beautiful, beautiful video that actually showed, and it didn't give that much description, but it showed the entire plant site of Mexico being built. It showed farmers, which I would imagine are all localized farmers. They are going to be based out of Mexico City, which is the capital of Mexico. Like I said, it's going to be phased out in 2 phases. They're in phase 1 now, obviously, with all the work that they are doing now. Looks like a lot of construction work. And the second phase will be what they call a soft phase. And then the second phase, they're calling it obviously a launch phase. And in that launch phase, I love the idea of them putting it out in a 30-day window. So within the 30 days, it will probably still capture some things that, they still need to fix, but they're calling that, another phase in itself, I guess, after the launch. And when, and we're all wondering when this will all happen. And as I understand it, it will be late summer, is what I heard, late summer. So that's all I have for now, but they are super, super excited. And excited with the fact that they are going to be based out of Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, and of course seem to be very, very experienced, as I said, with this type of industry. Okay.
Thanks, Tish. Hi, everyone. I was given the title of Lisa Pebble, and she is in charge of global development. So there are going to be some new changes on our labels, and this is by the FDA. But rest assured, the product has not changed, but the government requires labels. So hence the changes. We will now see calories, serving sizes, and added sugar. The FDA looks at this differently than Juice Plus does. The FDA considers anything which contains sugar, whether it's refined, fruit juice, dehydrated, or anything with a concentrated sugar content. They require it to be listed. But don't fret, it's still low glycemic, which is still going to be good for most of our people, no problem. Second change is what they call the nutrient declaration. She used the example of milligrams of a nutrient like vitamin A. It still has beta carotene in it, so they are just putting a label with the active components, such as MCGRE, which is micrograms of retinol activity equivalents, which is just a way of layering, or leveling, I should say. It's a way of leveling the playing field. So what your body can use from how much of that nutrient, which is the activity equivalent. Nothing in our product has changed. I want to say that again, over and over, stressing that. It's just the labeling that has changed. There's the third change that we'll see is a minor product change in the capsules due to regulatory requirements in other countries and environments, etc. One thing disallowed now, coming up in this current time, in those countries is the enzymes and Lactobacillus aedelophilus. I worked on that. Since these have not been allowed in other countries for quite some time, they are removing that in the US products. Again, it's not going to affect anything about how the product behaves in our bodies because we have already done the research and we know. Now, since I have never been labeled a scientific mind, I found it interesting that I should get this topic today. So here is the Simple Sandy solution. The FDA has required new labels for our product. So the labels will look a little different than we're used to seeing, but nothing has changed in our product, nor the way our product works in our bodies. That remains the same. The research has already been done, and what I'm sharing that we have, we're sitting on a gold mine with all of these double-blind gold standard clinical research studies. So we need to lean into those. We need to use them, to refer to them, and to trust their findings. Our work has already been done for us, and all we have to do is just keep referring back. And one of the things that I raised my eyebrows about was the enzymes, which this led into Dr. Manfred Lamprecht. And who doesn't love to hear that guy with his ideas? He was talking about the removal of the enzymes and probiotics in the US formula. Basically, what I gathered from his conversation was the microbiome. We have studied and learned so much more now from the microbiome than we did, say, 25 years ago when we first started out. We found out that probiotics do not harmonize well with the plant powders today. It doesn't work the same as it did 25 years ago. But the research compared with and without the formulas over time with absorption and all of that found no difference whether the probiotic enzymes are in or they're not in the product. So again, we're basing everything on science. It's not just belief, but it's based on science. It's safe on our results. We don't do anything on our products unless it's tested ahead of time on bioavailability and those things. And already around the world, they're already selling the Juice Plus products without the enzymes due to what we just talked about. So with that, I will turn it over to, I believe, Precious is next.
Thank you. What better person to talk about the tower than Tim Black, co-creator and owner of Tower Gardens. What I noticed first was how simple his presentation was. He could have gotten very technical considering that this was conference, but he didn't. He kept it simple because Tower Gardens are simple. The ideas and concepts that stood out to me first was what I currently do that they implement also, which is involving your children in the growing process. His wife, Jessica, talked about how, you know, they put the kids in charge of keeping the water and the nutrients levels maintained, also harvesting. Personally, I noticed doing this causes the kids to have a lot more pride about their growing. And I always notice too that the Tower Garden has a little less food every time they're in charge of, doing the maintenance, but that's a good thing. The things that I don't do, or I didn't do, but I've just started to implement was all verbiage. So some of the things that he put a lot of emphasis on was the Tower Garden's ability to grow vertical, off the ground and away from pests and rodents, which eliminates the needs for pesticides, and also the reason why we can go straight from tower to table. Now, these were things that I knew, but I wasn't actually saying them. And when I said it for the very first time, I was on the phone with my mother-in-law, and she ordered right then and there while we were on the phone. The other thing is the friendly comparison that he does between the two towers, trying to figure out what the needs of each person is. So not just saying or pushing the fact that we're low on certain inventory, so you should go this way instead. Just paying a lot of attention to what makes sense for that person and what they need. And so I noticed that also in a conversation that I had with two prospects. One of them lives in Florida, and her problem was that she just feels it's too hot outside to grow. Now, I thought that was a little odd. It's sunny Florida, everybody wants to be outside, but that was her personal opinion. That's how she felt. And then another prospect, she was more interested in growing outdoors, but wanted the flex. And her reason was because, her words, not mine, she doesn't live in the greatest neighborhood, and the flex will be more difficult to steal. And so we laughed. We laughed about it. Both prospects had different reasoning for each one, but I wanted to pay more attention currently about what fits them, not me trying to put my personal opinions on what works. Then another thing that I noticed was neither person complained about things being backordered because they were so excited, about it. The wait along made them excited. So I didn't have to, make up anything or, try to sugarcoat anything. I was very open in explaining, that things were. And because of this pandemic that we're in currently, everybody is jumping on a bandwagon. They're understanding the need for nutrition and being able to grow on their own. And one thing that Tim and Jessica did, they kept referring to their Tower Garden as the grocery store or the supermarket. So in that conversation with them, that's what I started referring it to. Being in control of what we grow and what we eat and, what we put in or on our bodies. A lot of times strikes a fire, under people. So the excitement was just way more incredible now than I've ever experienced. And something that I've also done with my team is they are experiencing more desire for towers. So we are looking into other teams outside of ours that are doing pre-recorded Tower Garden calls that we can send out to other people. And we're actually currently working on, me and my son are working on doing a Tower Garden call together to show how important it is to get the kids involved. And so Tim and Jessica just kept saying that, about their kids know nothing other than the tower, or they even refer to themselves as Tower Garden kids. And so I was watching it with my family, and my son overheard them say that. And he said, I'm a Tower Garden kid. And so we are going to adopt those terms that Tim and Jessica use. And also, even though I knew certain things, I just wasn't verbalizing them every single time I talk to someone. So I'm gonna be intentional and make sure that my team as well is intentional about using those terms. So that is it. That's all I have. And then next we have the awesome Allison Hodges.
Thank you. Jennifer's training was all about events, which is the heartbeat of our business. And she talked about how the invitation process is so important. So how we invite and how many we invite. So first, 10 to 20% of the people you invite will actually come. And I think a lot of people, since we have a lot of new people on our team, you know, a lot of times we're like, oh, I just thought of 5 people, but keep in mind, you need to invite a lot of people. You also want to make it very individual. So, you know, don't send out a group text or a group email. If you are texting, you can copy and paste the same message, but just change the person's name. We really want the invitation process to focus on them. So Jennifer says she doesn't necessarily focus on the product or the business, but she keeps it about them, wanting everyone to hear about the business and the product equally. So like an example would be, I found something for my family that we're really excited about. Would you be open to coming over on X? Or would you be open to hopping on an online event with me Wednesday? I think this is really going to resonate with you because. So you're letting them know like why you thought about them. And then Elaine already touched on creating a monthly flyer. She said that when they do invite someone, you know, it's obvious some people are going to say, oh, that's not a great time. But if you have that flyer in front of them, you can say, oh my gosh, I get it. Well, which one of these times would work for you? It's hard for someone to say, I'm actually not available the entire month. So her events are basically a series of videos, stories, and takeaways. And if you watched her training, at first it seems like a lot of videos, but she pointed out at the end that the videos really only take up about 22 minutes. But when you're watching the video and then having a story and then showing another video and having a story, it breaks it up. Her second video was about the shake mix. And one thing I love, since we all have Brenda hosting a shred group coming up, she said after the Jan Roberto video, she said, if this is making sense to you, when you order the fruit, vegetable, and berry and the capsules or chews and the shake mix too, you can be enrolled for free in our Shred 10 program. And she went on to explain the benefits. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is powerful. Like we've all been in hibernation. And for it to come across like, it just makes everyone want to order the trio and the shake mix right off because they get this incredible program for free. And when she started going into the recipes and the accountability and the coaching, anyway, I loved that. Each of her guests who, whether it's a home event or an online event, each one that shares their story includes both the product and the business. A couple of little verbiage sentences I liked. One was earning an income while making an impact. The other one I loved was, what if you could have a get to life instead of a have to life? Okay, so the end of her events, you definitely want to give guidance and direction. And so she goes over the 3 options, which we're all familiar with that. But I loved, you know, the first option is becoming a customer. But even when she mentioned that, she sort of put a plug in about the simplicity of the business. So she's like, she mentions being a customer, but then she's like, the company takes care of everything. They're going to ship it right to your home. And it's almost putting in their mind, if they decide to join us, you don't have to do anything with all that. The second option is to consider sponsoring a child. And then she talks about the Healthy Starts program. And then the third option, which is joining our business, she goes off, she starts by saying, now the best option to me is, you know, joining us because you're probably already thinking of 2 to 3 people outside your family that you know would want to know about this, and they could even get started with you. And then she said, you know, then she went on to talk about the $52 and so forth. Reminding them again that all of it, the quad, the shakes, all of it comes up to about the cost of a cup of fancy coffee. Okay, then she said follow-up is key. So they've been to the event, and you're going to want to say, which option gets you most excited? Which one are you most comfortable moving forward with? It only takes a minute to place your order tonight, or we can get you signed up as she called it preferred customer, but you could say a healthy living plan partner, whatever you want to say, wholesale partner. So you're not necessarily, you're kind of giving them an either or. We can get you started on the product, it'll be there in a week, or would you like me to walk you through getting you signed up? Then she said to be ready and prepared for questions and objections. Like if they ask about shipping, you want to let them know how that works and that they're totally in control of their order. What if someone says, I need to talk with my husband? Like, oh my gosh, I get that. How about you and your husband together getting on one of these online events? So you have an answer for that. If they use money as an objection, you can use feel, felt, found. Where most of us are familiar with that verbiage, but I know how you feel. I felt that way too, until I found out that joining this mission would not only, could offset my cost, but pay for my product, so on and so forth. And then you have those people you invited who didn't get to come. And so she said, you definitely want to follow up with those. Like, oh my goodness, we had so much fun, but I missed you though. Would you be open to connecting with my friend? Y'all would hit it off so much. And anyway, so it was all about how to invite, how she runs her events, and then how to follow up. And it was great. So I will turn it over to, is it Stacia?
Stacia.
Okay.
Yes. Mine is Know the System, and it's basically a walkthrough of our virtual office and our Freedom. Am I talking? Can you hear me? Okay. Our virtual office and our Freedom Revolution. Jennifer Dundick, Director of Global Digital Marketing and Product Owner of the Virtual Office, did this hands-on training. And what she did, she took 7 of the most asked questions on our virtual office, and I'm just going to kind of read down through those. I did find this very useful and helpful to me, and I learned a lot to go in and find some documents and run some reports. So the first question, how can I see my customers' next shipments, and when are they going out? She showed us how to do this for a whole calendar month and how to put this into a PDF format or an Excel format for you to use. Question number 2, how do I find a tracking number for a customer that has just shipped? Question number 3, where do I see my pending volume that I will count towards my PV qualification? Question number 4, how do I track a team member for fast track to team building bonuses through SC promotion? 5, where do I see who's on my team who are close to qualifying for performance bonus or promote out bonuses? Number 6, how can I see a downline team member 12-month analyst report? And the last most asked question, I got my commissions for the month, but how do I know what is making up those commissions? So you can go on and watch this, and she'll take you step by step on how to go in and look for all this information. And the second part to this training was with Brian Rose, and he did the Freedom Revolution. And we have a system that we can use no matter what we are doing in the business. Whether you are just getting a new customer, training new members, getting new team members, or building your team, there is something for everyone on the Freedom Revolution site. He let us know that this system is in place. Don't create your own system. The experts have done this for you. You need to take about 1 to 2 hours of your time just to click through every single page, familiarize yourself with everything and learn what's on there so you can get the information to help with your team members, send out videos to your customers. There's a lot of information, so I encourage everybody to go on that website, check out the Freedom Revolution and click through everything to familiarize yourself. And I think next up is Erin.
Did we lose Erin? All right, let me pass.
No, she's just on mute.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm previewing, guys, Healthy Starts for Families, and man, that is such an amazing program where kids eat free from ages 4 through college with every adult order. And Tony Branner talked about how this has really been a stabilizing factor for our businesses, and the people that have the biggest businesses and the customers that stay are the ones that take part in the Healthy Starts for Families. So whenever you have an opportunity to talk about kids and talk about free, people light up. And so it's just a great opportunity. But then she went on to talk about telling your story and sharing your story with emotion. And this is something that I'm going to change, because I'll often say my husband went from 30 sick days to 1. But something that I don't share is my husband went from 30 sick days to 1 sick day the next year after taking Juice Plus. But it was so scary for me because I didn't know where we were going to come up with the money to pay our bills. And just like adding that emotion in helps people. So rather than saying, I have a headache, you might want to say why those headaches are such a pain in the butt for you, and how Juice Plus has changed your life with that. So if Juice Plus caused us to have a steady income, which was incredible. She also went through some amazing, super fun events. So please take a look at those. I'm not going to go through those because we're a little short on time, but just make sure that in your events, you're just providing value for people, giving them information, letting them have a super fun time with their kids, creating meals together. You can have so much fun. And then she really talked about just being brave enough to ask for the order. And she said, I always keep in mind, what if somebody didn't tell me and didn't ask me? And so she always starts in just asking a lot of questions and saying, I'd love to help you customize a plan for your family. I loved that. And then, can I answer any questions for you? And then be quiet. Are you ready to get started? And be quiet. She also will start in with, what works for my family is we take the 4 blend of capsules, we take a complete shake every morning, and we really love the Tower Garden. What do you think would work best for your family? And just really asking people, just being in relationship. I think the biggest takeaway that I got from her is being authentic, looking people in the eye, telling your story with passion, because people need this, guys. And just developing relationships, whether they're customers or not, invite them in. So I'm gonna end there. Take it away, Carrie and Joey.
Go ahead.
Okay, so ours was Mitra Ray, which is to me very hard because to summarize her is almost impossible because everything she had to say was amazing. So her talk was about inspiring people to action. So we're guided and gifted each step of the way. We have our uplines, we have our teams, we have so many resources. We have an amazing product backed by research and science. This company is the best of best. We have 40 clinical research studies, real solutions. So Mitra Ray immediately was taken by the products and and totally convinced. So she signed up and started sharing with everyone who came in her path. We share our favorite makeup. We share our favorite hairstylist. We share so many things that we use every day. So doesn't everyone need to hear about Juice Plus? So she was so excited that her enthusiasm was contagious. She said, ignorance on fire, inspiration to motivation makes activation. So the market is right for better health, more awareness of health and immunity. So food security, our Tower Gardens, income, our business. What makes you want to move? A trip, a car, a new car, a better house, growing your own food, being part of a community. She talked about What brings you joy? So whatever it is, start off. And she also said to start off with like a reachable goal, something not so huge that, you know, you can't really, takes forever to reach, so that you start feeling good about reaching goals. And then don't let confusion and doubt get in your way, or negative people. Don't let no's spiral you down. And if I may, this is just one of the things I always go to is a verse, and it's, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and remembering whose we are. So when you're out there sharing and you're starting to feel negative, just remember some of those things and keep your focus and have clarity. So remember, success is a result of clarity, she talked about. Invest back into yourself. Don't complicate things. And you have a tried and proven business plan. Take each step. List your names. What does your calendar look like? Events. Share your story. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I love that. She said that. And then she talked about Jeff Roberti, like the times we're in right now with people worrying about income. She talked about him took off in this business during a time of recession. So it's the market is ready right now, ready and ripe, and people are looking for a way to better health. So make every day count right now. Now is the time. You have a purpose. You're making an impact out there, helping people feel more secure about their immune system and their health. Inspiration, motivation, activation. Let's do this. You can do well for yourself while doing good for others. Let's go, dare to lead.
With all that said, Carrie and I agreed upon this one idea that Mitra Ray had, and it was a quote that she read from Stephen Gritz. It's no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. You don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great, which made a lot of sense for our situation because Carrie and I started this 20 years ago. We didn't see the vision like some of you people did. We just did it to pay for our product. We had roadblocks back then, so we just wanted to just get into the business and do it so we could pay for our product. Now we see the real promise of this business. Coming out of Tampa, we were on fire, man. We just went crazy. We went ballistic. We were doing everything we could. And then we hit a roadblock in May of last year. And for 6 months, we couldn't really work the business like we wanted to. So right now, for us, the takeaway will be working it every day, planning, talking, sharing, and wherever we can and wherever we see, not only the product, but the business at the same time. And that's our story.
But I might add, during that roadblock, and this is what makes this company so fabulous, is during that roadblock, we were still being paid. So so that's our residual income. So that's another reason this company is so great, is having that residual income.
Thank you.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody's next.
No, I know that's it. I want to just wrap up this, but before I stop the recording, I just want to say, wow, to this team of leaders. You all just shared beautifully. And now I know I don't have to do these calls every week. I've got, right there's 10 people I can call on. So thank you guys for sharing just some incredible takeaways.